Alrighty, folks, it is Friday, June 16th, 2023, and I'm feeling great on a Friday because I'm now 4-0, my last 4 daily best plays on my website, and the good news is I have another daily best play going off here today for just $1.99, and as an added bonus, guys, if you sign up for that membership here today, you're going to get access to that package every single day for the next 30 days. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to start off with the O's at the Cubs, 2:20 Eastern first pitch. Baltimore's minus $1.20, total 7.5. Cole Irvin for Baltimore, Kyle Hendricks for Chicago. Now, Hendricks has looked pretty good in limited action this year. He's got a 3.09 ERA and a 1.07 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Cubs have played some really good baseball over the past week or so. They're 5-1 in their last 6, and that includes a 3-game sweep of Pittsburgh during that span. Nico Hoerner leads the club in batting average and hits. Meanwhile, Patrick Wisdom, he is the club lead in home runs. Now, they're facing Cole Irvin on the mound for Baltimore, and he's been pretty awful in a handful of starts. The lefty's got an ERA of 7.85 along with a 1.75 whip. Now, these Baltimore pitchers, they have had issues keeping runners off the base paths. They're allowing over 8.8 hits per contest. That's nearly in the bottom 5 in the entire league. Now, injury-wise, Mullins and Mountcastle are still out for Baltimore. Edwin Rios is out for Chicago. When it comes to the total, the Cubs saw their last 3 straight at Wrigley get over the total. Meanwhile, Baltimore saw 3 out of their last 4 road games get over the number themselves. Give me the Cubs plus $1 over 7.5. Next matchup, little NL East action. Marlins at the Nationals, 7:05 Eastern first pitch. They actually had the congressional baseball game at Nationals Park just a few days ago. Highly entertaining, very entertaining. But anyway, these are professionals here today, and it's actually Miami, who's minus $1.80 on the road. Totals 8.5. Sandy Alcantara for Miami, Trevor Williams for Washington. Now, Trevor's got a losing record on the season and an ERA in the 4s. And even if Williams throws well here today, the Nats have had all kinds of problems scoring in the Capitol. They're averaging under 3.8 runs a game in their own stadium. They're also walking just 2.2 times a game at home. That's a league low as well. Not overly selective at the plate, certainly not patient. Dead last in walks at the dish. Now they're facing Sandy Alcantara on the mound for Miami, and he's got 71 strikeouts and a 1.18 whip. And speaking of strikeouts, these Miami pitchers are mowing down 9.4 batters a game. They're a top 3 strikeout team. Now Garcia and Chisholm are still out for Miami. Joey Wendell's questionable. Meanwhile, for the Nationals, Robles and Pineda are still out for them. Now, 7 out of Washington's last 10 meetings with Miami did fall under the total. They averaged only 3.2 runs per contest during that time frame. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. Now, the Nats also went 60% to the under in their last 10 this season. Give me Miami minus $1.80, under 8.5. Next contest, Yankees, Bo Sox, 7:10 Eastern start time. Messed up. It's messed up behind me again. Boston's minus $1.20, totals 9.5. Tanner Houck for Boston, Domingo Germán for New York. Now Germán's got himself an ERA in the 3s with a whip below 1. This Yankee pitching staff, they also allow fewer hits a game on the road than any other team in the majors. They're limiting their competition to just 7.3 hits per contest when they travel. Now they're facing a Boston team who's had all kinds of problems at the plate in their recent meetings with New York. The Bo Sox are averaging just 3.2 runs a game in their last 10 gatherings with the Bombers. Now, pitching-wise, the Red Sox allowed nearly 6 runs a game this year at Fenway. And, of course, starting pitcher Tanner Houck, he's been no exception to that. He comes into this game just 3-6 on the season with an ERA in the 5s. Now, Aaron Judge is still out for the Yankees, and 6 out of New York's last 10 games against Boston did stay under the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, Plenty of unders to go around. New York's also 8-2 to the under in their last 10 this season. Now, the Bo Sox on the other side, they saw 3 out of their last 4 at Fenway stay under the total. Give the Yankees plus $1, under 9.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Cards, Mets, 7-10 Flushing, Queens. St. Louis is minus $1.15 on the road, totals 9. Miles Michaelis for St. Louis, Tyler McGill for New York. Now, the Mets have seen plenty of unders at Citi Field. They're 13-5 to the under against National League opponents at home. Meanwhile, St. Louis saw 3 out of their last 4 road games stay under the total as well. They're also 22-13 to the under in all of their contests when they bat first. And when it comes to selecting a winner in this one, this game's being featured as my extra daily bet on my website. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, give me the under 9 runs. Next contest, it is going to be Rockies at the Braves, 7:20 Eastern start time. Atlanta's minus 250, totals 10. Jared Schuster for Atlanta, Dinelson Lamet for Colorado. Now, Lamet's been pitching like an absolute buffoon this year. Out of 21 2/3 innings of work, the righty's got himself an ERA in the 10s. Now, these Rockies hitters are also terrible on the road. They're currently 10 games below 500 in their travels. And they're scoring only 3.7 runs per contest in those road games. They're facing Jared Schuster, who's got a winning record despite a couple of shaky outings. But truthfully, these Atlanta batters can pretty much out-hit anyone. They're in the top 3 in the league in hits per contest. Ronald Acuna is a big OPS guy. He's actually in the top 3 in OPS average in the league, and he has the second highest batting average in all of baseball. Meanwhile, Ozzie Albies, he drives in the most runs on the roster. Blackmon, Crone, and Bryant still out for the Rockies. 7 out of Atlanta's last 10 outings did get over the total. They're also 67% to the over at Truist Park. A lot of overs at home this year. Give me the Braves minus 1.5, over 10. Next ball game, once again, our app is messed up behind me, so won't be able to follow along, but you'll just have to listen to me. Next game, Blue Jays Rangers, 8:05 East. Should be a good game here. Toronto's minus 135 on the road, totals 8.5. Kevin Gausman for Toronto, Martin Perez for Texas. Now, Perez is 6-2 on the season with 51 strikeouts, and I will admit, Perez has not been lights out this year, certainly not like last season. He's been getting banged around a little bit, but on the other hand, for some reason, these Ranger hitters love to win for the guy. Out of 13 Perez starts this year, the Rangers got the W 9 times. So, hey, it's all about getting the W. And much of those wins obviously has to do with these Texas plate appearances. They're the highest scoring franchise in the majors right now. Adolis Garcia, he's got the second most RBI in the game. Marcus Semion's the club leader in hits. Now, they're facing a Toronto team on the other side who plays just .500 baseball on the road. And as good as Gausman's been, he better not let Texas get to the bullpen early because Toronto's in the bottom 10 in runs allowed away from home. Now, injury-wise, Brandon Belt's still out for the Jays. Brad Miller's out for Texas. 8 out of the Rangers' last 10 outings did get over the total. They're also 25-9 to the over in all of their contests in their own building. The Blue Jays on the other side, they are 16-11 to the over in their road trips. Give me the Rangers plus $1.15, over 8.5. Next matchup, little interleague contest here. Reds, Astros, 8:10 p.m. East. Houston's $1.90, totals 9. JP France for Houston, Andrew Abbott for Cincinnati. And even though Abbott's been tough, he doesn't even have a dozen innings of work under his belt yet. So very small sample size. These Cincy pitchers as a whole, they've had a tough time on the road this year. They're in the bottom 5 in the National League in hits allowed while traveling. They're going to have to face guys like Kyle Tucker, who leads the Astros organization in hits this year. Mauricio Dubon's hitting just about 300 himself, slightly below that. And even if the Astros do struggle at the plate, starting pitcher JP France, he's been more than efficient enough to keep them in ball games. The righty's got an ERA in the 3s, and he's recorded only 1 loss. Now, injury-wise, Yordan Alvarez is still out for Houston. Myers, Senzel, and Fraley inactive for Cincinnati. Now, the Reds are 6-3 to the over in their last 9 interleague road games. Meanwhile, Houston saw 4 out of their last 7 JP France starts get over. Give me Houston minus 190, over 9. All right, next contest I have for you. It is going to be Tigers at the Twins, 8:10 Eastern first pitch. Now, this game is currently off the board. It looks like Joe Ryan's going to get the start for Minnesota. I haven't seen a confirmed starter yet for Detroit, but I'll tell you what, no matter who it is, whoever the starter is, he's probably not going to get the run support he needs because the Tigers are dead last in run production on the road. They're having all kinds of problems scoring, and no real surprise, they average a league low 7.1 hits a game in their travels. Now, they're going to have to face Joe Ryan for the Twins, and he's been pretty spectacular. The righty's got 7 wins on the season with an ERA in the 2s. He's also fanned 84 batters in 77 plus, along with a .97 whip. Now, these Minnesota pitchers as a whole, they're striking out more batters per contest than any other staff in baseball. They're punching out a league best 9.6 batters a game. Now, Polanco and Gordon are out for Minnesota. Baddoo and Green inactive for Detroit. Give me the Twins minus 1.5. All right, next matchup I have for you. It is going to be Angels at the Royals, 8:10 Eastern start time. The LA Angels are minus $1.50 on the road. Totals 9.5. Patty Sandoval for Los Angeles. Brady Singer for Kansas City. Now, Singer's got a losing record and an ERA of 6.58. And even if Singer throws well, the Royals are having all kinds of problems sending runners across home plate. They're a bottom 3 run-producing team. Now, they're going to have to face a dangerous Angels lineup who, truthfully, they can score with the best of them. LA is a top 5 run-producing team in the American League. And, of course, Shohei Ohtani currently leads the roster in pretty much every offensive category. Mike Trout and Hunter Renfroe, they have 70 RBI between the both of them. Now, Rendon and Urshela are questionable for Los Angeles. Salvi Perez, he's banged up for Kansas City. Keep an eye on him. The Angels went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. They're also 24-13 to the over when they hit first. Give me the Angels minus $1.50, over 9.5. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Pirates at the Brewers, 8:10 Eastern start time. Milwaukee's minus $1.20, totals 9. Julio Teheran for Milwaukee, Rich Hill for Pittsburgh. Now, Hill's got 6 wins on the season, along with 67 strikeouts. Now, these Pirate batters are also very selective at the plate. They're in the top 5 at walks at the dish, and they also strike out fewer times a game than most clubs in the National League. Very patient at the dish this year. Now, they're facing Julio Teheran, who, hey, I'll admit, I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's had some filthy stuff this year. He's been pretty much unhittable. But for some reason, the Brewers kind of refuse to win for him. Teheran comes into today's start with just 1 win on the season. He's also backed by one of the worst hitting lineups in the league. Milwaukee's averaging just 7.3 hits a game at home. Now, they're also striking out more times a game at home than any other roster besides one. Winker and Taylor are still out for Milwaukee. The Brewers did see 7 out of their last 10 stay under the posted total. They're also 10-3 to the under in divisional play. Now, Pittsburgh's 11-6 to the under in their divisional ball games themselves. Give me the Pirates plus $1, under 9. All right, next contest I have for you. It is going to be Guardians at the Diamondbacks, 9:40 p.m. East. Arizona's minus 155, totals 8. Zach Gallen for Arizona, Tristan McKenzie for Cleveland. And out of just 10 innings of work, the righty McKenzie has 15 strikeouts already. And even though the Guardians aren't I wouldn't say they're offensive, juggernauts, but they have done a great job making contact with the baseball. They're actually striking out fewer times a game than any other lineup in the majors. Now, they're going to have to face a struggling Arizona team who just lost 3 straight to the Phillies at home. And in those 3 losses, the D-backs mustered up only 10 total runs, so averaging less than 3.4 runs a game in those 3 losses during that stretch. And like I said, all home games. Really a bad stretch of games for the D-backs. And I'll tell you what, as good as Zach Gallen's been, this D-backs pitching staff as a whole, they are in the bottom 10 in strikeouts per 9. Now, 5 out of Arizona's last 6 interleague home games fell under. Meanwhile, Cleveland 61% to the under against National League opponents. Give me the Guardians plus 1.5, under 8. Next game, Phillies, A's, 9:40 p.m. East. Philadelphia's minus 145, totals 8.5. Taijuan Walker for the Titans, J.P. Sears for Oakland. And out of 69-plus innings, Sears has recorded only 1 win. And no real shock here, the lefty's got himself an ERA in the 4s. And even though the A's no longer have the worst record in baseball, they are still dead last in producing runs. Really bad lineup. Now they're facing Taijuan Walker on the mound, who's 6-3 on the year for the Phils. The Titans are also having little issues getting base runners. They're a top 5 hit-producing team on the road. Now Bryson Stott, he's hitting .301 at the plate. And of course, Nick Castellanos, he's leading the roster in batting average, hits, and RBI. Really wish he would have saw that production last year. Might have been the X factor to put them over the top for a championship. But regardless, great to see Nick back in the full swing of things, leading the roster in most offensive categories. Now, 6 out of Philadelphia's last 10 did stay under the total. They're also 67% to the under against the American League on the road. Now, Oakland 60% to the under in their interleague home games. Give me Philadelphia minus 145, under 8.5. All right, next ball game, Rays, Padres, 9:40 p.m. East. Tampa Bay's minus $1.20, total 7.5. Shane McClanahan for Tampa Bay, Yu Darvish for San Diego. Now, Darvish comes into today's matchup with a handful of losses and an ERA of 4.30. He is also backed by arguably the worst hitting lineup in the National League. The Pods are averaging just 7.4 hits a game. Now, they're going up against Shane O'Mac, who's 10-1 on the season with an ERA of 2.18. And even if McClanahan struggles, the Rays score more runs per contest than any other lineup in that high-powered AL East. Wander Franco leads the lineup in hits. Ike Paredes has the most RBI. Now, 3 out of Tampa's last 4 road games did fall under the posted total. Meanwhile, San Diego's 60% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Rays minus $1.20, under 7.5. Next matchup, White Sox, Mariners, 10:10 p.m. East. Seattle's minus $1.25, totals 8. Brian Wu for Seattle, Michael Kopech for Chicago. Now, Kopech's just 3-5 with an ERA in the 4s. The Sox also lost 4 out of their last 5. And they have all kinds of problems in the batter's box. They're in the bottom 5 in hits per game on the road. They're facing a Seattle club who does have a winning record at home, despite their struggles this year. They also got the W in 3 out of their last 5. And they did average just about 8 runs a game in those victories. Now, Moncada is out for the White Sox. 3 out of Chicago's last 4 road games did fall under the total. They're also 7-3 to the under in their last 10 at any location. Give me Seattle minus $1.25, under 8. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It's going to be in that Giants-Dodgers game, little divisional matchup here, 10:10 Eastern first pitch. Now, this game is currently off the board. It looks like John Brabia, he's going to get the start for the Giants. Looks like Matt Andriese possibly making his season debut for Los Angeles. Now, believe it or not, this is Andriese's 8th Major League season. He did miss all of 2022, but he does have 50 career starts since 2015. Now, the Dodgers have played well against NL West opponents, especially at home. They got the W in 7 out of their last 9 divisional contests at Dodger Stadium. When it comes to offensive production, the Dodgers are in the top 3 in runs per game. Freddie Freeman's got the highest batting average in the NL West. He's also a top 10 OPS guy. Meanwhile, JD Martinez is the club leader in runs batted in. Now, they're facing a San Francisco team who got the W in just 5 out of 12 divisional ball games themselves. The San Francisco hitters also strike out just way too much. They're fanning more times a game than any other lineup in baseball. Now, injury-wise, Mitch Haniger is out for San Francisco. Max Muncy's questionable for the Dodgers. Give me the LA Dodgers getting the job done for some money line cash. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Chicago Cubs plus $1 over 7.5. Miami Marlins minus $1.80 under 8.5 runs. New York Yankees plus $1 under 9.5. Give me the under 9 in the Cardinals-Mets game. Atlanta Braves minus 1.5 over 10. Texas Rangers plus $1.15 over 8.5. Houston minus $1.90 over 9. Minnesota minus 1.5 getting the job done for some run line cash. LA Angels minus 150 over 9.5. Pittsburgh Pirates plus $1 under 9. Cleveland Guardians plus 1.5 under 8 runs. Philadelphia minus 145 under 8.5. Tampa Bay Rays minus $1.20 under 7.5 runs. Seattle Mariners minus $1.25 under 8. And with my next and final pick for the video, give me the Dodgers getting the job done for some money line cash. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. Now, if you guys do end up signing up for my daily best play, just keep in mind, you're going to get access to that membership every single day for the next 30 days. And guys, if you want to get access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day, you may want to think about signing up for my chairman package. It's a full access, all-inclusive membership. It gives you access to every single personal play of mine, every single package, every single day for the next 30 days. And as an added bonus, you also get access to my Chairman podcast, absolutely free. It's included with your purchase. And once again, that's why I always tell folks, my Chairman package is a full access, all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.